Short stories. Should you or shouldn't you write them? Today, I'm considering short stories, which are a pretty personal choice for authors, and not everyone can write them. Though heaven knows people try. Some authors can write books, and some are amazing when they craft short stories. A few are proficient at both. But let's talk about whether we should write short stories. Hello and welcome back to my writing journey. I'm Ellen Byerrum, a mystery writer who also pens thrillers, children's books, short stories, and plays. I was a journalist in Washington, D.C. and am familiar with deadlines, as well as heroes and villains. And I have a few thoughts about the coming election, but more about that later. In these videos, I discuss the craft of writing, news about writing, sometimes chatty gossip, and whatever crosses my mind if it has to do with writing. If that sounds useful or fun to you, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to make sure you're notified of all the videos. That way you won't miss any. When it comes to short stories, I am of two minds, or maybe more, and my mind might just change with the season. First of all, there's not really a lot of money to be made. Make that almost no money. Gone are the days when F. Scott Fitzgerald could make a living writing short stories. In the past, magazines might publish a dozen or more stories in every issue, and there were scads of magazines on the stands. Many of us encounter short stories only in school, and the assignment to write one is torture. It may be because in my dim experience, teachers don't really talk about plot and characters. They never tell you that something must happen in a short story. And so we are inundated with slice of life stories. As a mystery writer, I believe something's got to happen. A death, a disaster, a solution, wild characters, something like that. I also believe the most successful short stories have a setup, like a joke. This is also true for short plays. They have a setup, a rising action and climax, and a payoff. But the most successful ones, in my opinion, go further and have a twist at the end. Generally, I don't write short stories. However, I just finished one and submitted it for an anthology. Even more surprising to me is that this is the second short story I've written this year. Who knew? The first one, The Portuguese Sailor, was accepted earlier for an anthology on urban legends, but it won't be published until 2026. The story I submitted this week is titled Say My Name. Of course, I have no idea how it will fare. I've been telling people I wasn't going to write a piece for an antiquities story collection, but the story structure and plot came to me in a flash, and it seemed silly not to take a whack at it. I also had an in-house archaeologist for the finer points of the story. But really, why did I write them? I have written a few others. Peer pressure may be part of it. I know a lot of writers who have their short stories published in anthologies and mystery magazines, and frankly, I was feeling a bit left out. Why not try? But that's not enough of a reason, really. I spend most of my time writing mystery novels. Now, writing a novel is a very long process, and it can take a year or more to write a full-length book. Yes, I know there are some writers who can toss a novel together 3 or 4 times a year. I'm not one of them, and I'm not talking about them. In fact, I have published a couple of short ghost stories suitable for this spooky time of year. The Last Goodbye of Harris Turner and The End of Summer. I'll link to them below if you're interested. Here are a few reasons to write a short story in the midst of a longer project. 1. A short story offers the feeling of progress, accomplishment. Whether it goes any further or not, you've got a finished piece under your belt. Now I can say I'm working on the second book in my Art Deco series, and I have 2 new short stories. It feels like progress. 2. You have an idea for a story that's a small, tasty appetizer, but not big enough for a full meal or novel. 3. You have an idea that's keeping you from your book. You might as well write it and take care of it so it doesn't continue to distract you. It's like being on a diet and all you can think of is eating a piece of cake. Eat the cake. It takes care of the craving. A short story can take the pressure off for a little bit and let you play with a different idea, perhaps something you've had for a long time in the back of your mind. You can return refreshed to your novel. 4. Maybe you'd like to write a bunch of connected short stories using the same characters to come up with a full narrative. Some people write a series of connected stories with the idea of putting out a collection, and a collection makes a book. 5. Short stories offer a chance for publication, a writing credit, and in the mystery writing world, those stories can be submitted to Mystery Writers of America and Malice Domestic, possibly to be nominated for an award, but only if they are traditionally published. That's something you cannot do on your own. Something you can do on your own that will make a difference is vote. Yes, and the closer it gets to Halloween, the scarier this election gets. You don't need a conspiracy theory with these jokers that support Project 2025. This is the one the orange joker disavows, but his name is in it over 300 times. Some of them really do want to take rights away from us, restrict the vote, repeal child labor laws, and kill the Department of Education, and gut the Federal Emergency Management Agency and hinder disaster response. Do we need that right now? We absolutely do not. But we can avert the disaster of Project 2025 with our vote. That's all I have for now. I'll see you next week. Bye.